As a longtime rider, it's important to me to be able to see and be seen. When you talk to drivers that have turned into the path of an oncoming motorcycle, their most common excuse is, "I didn't see him." Well, a great way to be seen is to have great lighting on your bike. Now, Clearwater Lights makes those great lights, and we caught up with them at the Progressive International Motorcycle Show in Long Beach to talk about how you can see and be seen.
We originally got our start building lights for actually non-BMW models. We started with the Yamahas and Hondas and such, and we kind of originated the ability of adjusting the lights with the dimmer. My background's audio, and I have an affinity for what I call the volume control. This is effectively, it's a car audio amp switching power supply from a car audio amplifier that's driving LEDs, okay? And I felt it imperative to be able to adjust the low beam so you can adjust it to a point where it's not so bright for oncoming cars that you're forced to turn them off. These are conspicuity lights that you want to make the oncoming car see you and recognize you as a motorcycle and not just a reflection off a mirror or a stop sign somewhere. We want them to visualize you as a potential hazard, and we want them to respect our lives. So having to turn them off is a no-go for me. Turning them down to a level where the oncoming car is not annoyed or not offended, but still he's respecting you, and that's the key. And once the car passes, you turn your high beam switch on, and the light goes from low to high power, low to high power. And this feature is exclusive in all of our lights. This feature can also be toggled or changed with the activation of the horn, because anytime you're using the horn, you want to get someone's attention. In this case, you hit the horn, no, 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 don't do that, okay? And that's the key. We've said that from day one, that the horn and the high beam activation, getting a change in brightness is more critical than a bright light. I've heard that hashtag that says bright lights save lives. I think that's great, but I think another addition to that might be changing intensity lights save even more lives, because if someone sees an intensity light changing, it's more attention getting. And that's what we really want to do. We want the oncoming car or the oncoming motorcyclist to recognize you as something we want them to respect you and take you as a oncoming vehicle and not being mistaken by a reflection. So many times riders are involved in collisions with vehicles, and the owner of the vehicle, when they're interviewed, they'll say, "I never saw him." Or more importantly, they say, "I didn't recognize it as a motorcycle." And they didn't view it as a threat because it's just a motorcycle. How fast can he be going and how much damage could he present to me? People underestimate that. This is what we call our analog dimmer. This is our dimmer that can mount on a handlebar on many motorcycles. It can mount in a fairing if you want to do that. And this kit, this universal kit that we manufacture, will work on over 600 different motorcycles. And while we're strong on BMWs, we do virtually every motorcycle. Our universal kit and our manual dimmer can be mounted on Harleys, Ducatis, Aprilias, Kawasaki's, KTM's, Suzuki's, Yamaha, Victory, Modus. We even have a factory relationship with Modus. Modus has selected us to be a dealer and factory installed option on the new Modus motorcycles. Yeah, we're very thrilled to be working with them. Okay, we're very excited. I think last time we were here, we highlighted the Glendas and the Cristas, and now all the line has been revamped. Everything is more efficient, it's brighter, and more useful with many more applications. We now have a new Darla light. It's actually 3 times brighter than the original Glenda. And Darla is named after my wife, Darlene. Now, Krista's been upgraded too. Now, Krista is actually almost 50% brighter. We've changed the lenses. Due to a request from a lot of the iron butt riders and the long distance riders, they wanted a pattern that was deeper reaching down the road to get further down, to get more down road visibility at higher speeds. So we developed a new optic with an 8-degree pinpoint spot. That is very useful in conjunction with the headlights on a motorcycle for the near field. The long distance optics of the new Krista and the new Savina, which we'll talk about in a second, really reach out and touch critters and deer and even a 2x4 100 yards out on the road. And a companion to the Krista is the new 6600 lumen Erica. It's over 6,000 lumens with only 60 watts of power. It's a powerhouse, it's very useful, and combined with a Krista, we produce what we call a hybrid. It's one of each light pattern. So one is useful for up to 100 yards, the other one reaches out further for higher speed, maybe iron butt nighttime riding. And then the new girl on the block, they're all named after girls, of course, it's more interesting, is Savina. Savina uses 7 high-power LEDs with 7 of our 8-degree proprietary optics. This is a light, and combined with a pair of Ericas, will reach out farther than most motorcycles could exceed at night, or it should safely exceed. The Savina was a response to a cry from the long-distance iron butt riders. Carl Reese, a motorcycle rider, recently broke the world record of riding cross-country and set a Guinness Book of World Records in 39 hours, 42 minutes. He eclipsed the old record by over 4 hours, and he used it with a pair of Savinas that he procured from us at retail. He didn't even tell us what he was doing. It was very special to hear that. But he and I have become good friends, and he's been a good ambassador to how our lights work well with the long-distance riders. We've also come up with, for some police use or even side-by-side use, it's a cigarette lighter plug-in Savina for a handheld spotlight. It's very useful. And we've done some research for nighttime and daytime use of lights, but particularly daytime conspicuity. We worked with some lighting engineers, and we found a color that was originally developed by the French government. It's called selective yellow, and it's a bandwidth of light. It changes the color of light to a color and bandwidth that the human eye perceives at a very long distance in broad daylight. And the increase in visibility during the day is uncanny with a set of our selective light covers. And these are removable. They come off, and they're available for all our lights. And they're bulletproof, replaceable. If you break one, they'll give you a new one free. And this is the new top secret for the girl. It's called the Super Savina, because how could you do better than a Savina but come out with a Super Savina? This is a 21,000 light spotlight. And I'll turn it on just for a second. The camera will probably wash out. And this is the light that you need primarily for nighttime Baja racing. We had an opportunity to work with some Colin Edwards and some other long-distance nighttime riders. We helped sponsor them in a Baja 1000 ride a few years ago, and this was designed in conjunction with Carl and his inputs, and some of the riders' inputs. They wanted more and more light. We can never almost have enough light. The LEDs we've used in the past year, just from Cree, as a partner, has helped us produce the same amount of power usage. We've achieved 30% more light. That's one banner right there. In the case of the Darla, from the Glenda to the Darla project, we utilized the same housing, but we used a whole new power supply, new LEDs, new optics, and more power. So the original Glenda used 8 milliamps, which is about a quarter of an amp, but the new Darla can draw up to 2.5 amps if you want. So the new Darla really packs a punch. It's one of the brightest 2-inch diameter lights available. And all of our lights, of course, have the ability to dim them. Because if the lights were just on full power and you had to turn them off for an oncoming car, you'd be presented with night blindness, which happened to me a number of years ago. So all of our lights have the ability to be adjusted to high beam and manually turned down to a lower level with just a simple flick of the low beam, high beam switch. And that is critical for a motorcycle light. And continuing in the tradition at Clearwater, I tell everybody that I'm in the lighting business and not necessarily in the bracket business, because a bracket is a tool to help a customer install our lights on their bikes with a plug-and-play, turnkey, one-turn solution product. This is a very unique product we developed it's particularly made for the BMW K1600 GT or GTL. It's a CNC machine and laser scan bracket that we made that actually bolts under the mirror bracket, bolts to the bike, and there's no cutting, no splicing, and it integrates well with the motorcycle. We actually put our logo on it to prove to everybody that it's not a factory BMW part, because it looks so purpose-built. And that's what my engineers and I try to do every time. We look at a solution, a request for a solution on a bike, and we don't just give a kit that says, here, some assembly required. We go through detailed times, and we check vibration analysis, we check long-term durability, we check aerodynamic problems with it to make sure that the solution we give the customer is one-stop shopping and it's certified to ready to work and be an additive solution for help making a rider safer. And that's the key. That's what we're trying to do.
We're hoping someday soon that we get to test a few of these lights so we can see just how good they are. If you want to see more videos from our coverage of the Long Beach Progressive International Motorcycle Show, go to youtube.com/cyclesportstv. And don't forget to like and comment on our videos. To keep up with all our new content, including some cool new 360 VR videos, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also keep up with what we're doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Periscope.